Hello, in this video, I'm going to show you how to use ChatGPT to create pretty much a full end-to-end marketing plan for any brand. In this case, it's going to be focusing on digital marketing and paid media, but really you can use this for any kind of marketing you want to do, whether it be market research, PR, content marketing, and anything else besides, depending on how you tweak the prompt. I'm going to share the prompt. There's a link in the description if you want to grab it. And then you can just paste that in and start creating a full marketing plan for any brand. It's not going to be the thing I would actually like finalize and go to market with, but it's a really good starting point. And one cool thing to note is that it's a pretty cool thing to use for prospecting. So if you want to work with a brand or forge a partnership as an agency or a freelancer, it's quite a nice way of reaching out. You can go, hey, I've created a quick marketing plan for your brand. Do you want to take a look or have a chat about it? And be pretty good conversation starter. So hopefully this is useful for those of you who are looking to incorporate ChatGPT more into your marketing mix and your efforts. And with that said, I'm going to jump into ChatGPT now and see what we can do. So here we are in ChatGPT. For this, I'm going to be using ChatGPT 4, but 3.5 will work, just not as well. And, if you can afford the $20 a month, I'd say you're buying into one of the most powerful tools that you can get right now. And it's definitely worth $20, especially if you're using it at work and to make money. But as I said, 3.5 will work. Google Gemini will work. Anthropic will work. You can use Microsoft Copilot, just whatever. GPT is my favorite for this kind of thing. So I've been using ChatGPT to build out marketing ideas, marketing plans for a while. This is the first time I used it to really construct something completely end to end that you could use as a kind of full package, if you will. And the great thing about this is that I've been using it quite a bit in prospecting. So saying to companies, hey, I can create you a marketing plan, or hey, I've already created you a marketing plan. Would you like to see it? Many people are interested in that and are likely to respond, yes, please send that over. And then with a few quick commands, you can actually get ChatGPT to generate that, save it out as a PDF, and then send that to them. Again, it's not going to be super full in detail, but as a conversation starter. So there's lots of ways you can go about doing this. I'm going to show you one particular way that I found quite effective. And then we can talk maybe about how it can be tailored to kind of your specific needs. So look, you could start simply by saying, create a marketing plan for a company like this, a big company like Nike. I actually don't know what it's going to give us here. My guess is that it's not going to be particularly useful or helpful. And indeed, here it's coming up with some pretty generic stuff, which, again, it's not nothing. Certainly something that you can build on and work with, but it's going to need some work, especially, if it's going to go to a big brand like Nike. It's worth mentioning that what I'm going to show you now probably works better for smaller brands. If you're talking about a large brand with a huge marketing team, it's not really going to be news to them, your stuff that you're sending. But again, if you're wanting to engage with a startup, maybe a small SME, this is a good way I've found to do that. So let's start a new chat. And I'm going to show you the prompt that I have developed that works quite well for this. So I'm going to start with this first part. So you specialize in creating tailored brand plans, focusing on digital marketing and leveraging paid media channels. So here you could put in really whatever you want. I do a lot in the digital marketing space, working with agencies and brands, and a lot in paid media. If you want this to focus on content, on PR, on kind of physical marketing, on events, you can really just start to plug in what you need there. And then importantly, we're going to engage the user by asking a few simple questions about the brand, allowing for skips with assumptions made as needed, because sometimes you don't have the answer, and GPT is pretty good at filling in the blanks. So to begin, ask the following questions, no more, no less. You need to be quite strict with it, and option to reply skip if they don't want the answer. Ask the question altogether and don't say anything else. I found that if you don't say this, it keeps adding its own commentary. It can be a bit annoying. So really just got to kind of tell it to pipe down and and give you what you need. So the questions that I've used are company URL. ChatGPT can tell a lot just from that. Their top 3 challenges and then the top 3 goals for the year. And again, replace digital here or digital marketing with the specific area you want to focus on. It could be sales challenges, sales goals, that kind of thing. These, I've played around with a lot of different question formats. These I found really good because they kind of get to the root of the issue quite quickly. You're finding out who the brand is, and then challenges and goals are a lot. You can sculpt a strategy around that. Okay, so then after those questions, you're going to ask it to generate a report. Yeah, so you'll search the web as much as needed. Tell it to do this because it can be lazy and skip this, and you will need the paid version to do this. Justify your recommendations so that regardless of what you suggest, it feels relevant and applicable and intelligent. So, it can sometimes just come up with things, but if you get it to tell you why, then you end up with much better, more kind of plausible responses. Then here's the structure of the final report that I've been using. Again, you can tailor this to your needs, but this I found has been quite helpful. So we have target audience. First, the overview of the brand. So it shows that GPT actually understands the brand, and it will be able to do that either with information that's out on the internet or through the web searches that it does. Tell me about the target audience. This alone can be pretty useful, and I found the results it comes out with can be pretty good. The summary of the goals and challenges, the content and campaign recommendations. I like to go first with that because it's interesting, it's creative, and then channel and platform focus, budget, outcomes, and then timeline. Now, you'll see this is not built on kind of like traditional marketing strategy where you'd have a full diagnosis, the strategy built out, and then all the tactics. This is more on the tactical side, but it's to get to the point where it's delivering actionable, interesting steps that will either be useful for you and your brand or be useful for someone that you're engaging with and trying to tell about how they could do their marketing more effectively. Okay, so then a bit of a justification and a few more kind of ground rules for it. So this approach ensures that each plan is actionable, grounded in the brand specific goals and challenges, and provides a comprehensive strategy for digital advertising success. Just to help give GPT some more context, when creating the plan, don't use words like likely and maybe. Be confident in your answers. I find it does that a lot. It kind of couches its language in uncertainty, and then at the end result feels a bit kind of like not confident. At the end of the day, we can't know for sure that any of these ideas are going to work, but we can just be confident when we present them. And you need to just tell GPT to do that. And don't be generic. These answers should be highly bespoke. And the content campaign should be specific. Again, if you don't tell it to do this, ChatGPT and these LLMs are ultimately language aggregators. So they pull what they can find out on the internet and they deliver it to you. If you don't tell it to be specific and bespoke, it will spit out way more generic answers. And I think that's a large reason why people don't enjoy using the platform sometimes after a while, is they find it too generic and too much of an aggregator. But if you just tell it to be more specific, tell it to be more interesting, it actually will give you more tailored, less generic answers, which I find really useful. This is a broken collarbone from last week, if anyone was wondering. Okay, and then the last bits that I use when it comes to advertising and channels, you can be detailed and technical and give justifications for everything you suggest, including budgets, refer to industry trends and insights to back up your answers. Again, this is the ones that I'm creating could go to quite technical audiences, PPC managers, paid performance managers, and I want the output to be detailed and technical and not top level and generic. Okay, and then to enhance the digital advertising strategies, incorporate granular approach to each section of the strategy with added specifics and concrete examples. So again, just reinforcing that idea of specificity, concrete examples that are likely to improve effectiveness. This again is going to mean you get less generic responses and more creative ones from GPT. Okay, and then lastly, what I've created as well, which I've found really useful, is I said an uploaded PDF is a template or example that you should use to base your output on. Never produce less detail than what is included in the template. Stick to this format exactly. So I've done this because I basically used the prompt to create one of these plans. And then I was very happy with the results that it produced. And I've saved that into a Word document, which I then exported as a PDF. And then I upload that to GPT. And this will just help guide GPT. So I've uploaded that over here. And that basically forms the whole prompt. I've included a link in the description where you can go and copy and paste this. But let's see what that gives us. So now if I hit enter, it should basically say, it should ask these questions. If I've done this right, company URL and these challenges and goals for the year. So let's see what it does. Okay, perfect. So it's asked us now for exactly what we were expecting. And now we're going to go ahead and input this information. I'm going to pick a local brand. And I'm doing this because, well, firstly, it's a brand I really like. They're a kind of fashion brand that uses recycled materials to create really awesome products. But what's cool about this is they're quite unknown in terms of that they're not like a massive global brand. So ChatGPT is going to have to do its research to get under the skin of this, and that's the direction I wanted to push it in, because again, I want to show that this can work for even smaller brands, because you're giving it the URL, and GPT can go actually investigate the brand itself. So they're called Sealand. Sealand Gear is the URL. I'm going to make up challenges. I'm going to keep these pretty generic. So I'm going to say not enough sales, high cart abandonment rate. You can get pretty specific with these, and low social engagement. And in terms of goals, let's say double revenue, triple social engagement, or following rather. And last one, let's say reduce CPA in advertising. So a bit more technical, but I'm saying I'm wanting to reduce the cost of acquisition. So reducing the cost of acquiring a new customer when paying for that. So I'm going to hit go and let's see what it comes up with. Okay, and here we go. So pretty good. We're starting with an overview of the brand, a nice summary that, pretty much sums it up very well. High quality, sustainable outdoor gear, designed to sustainability, exactly. Target audience, environmentally conscious consumers, outdoor enthusiasts, individuals seeking durable, eco-friendly products. This group values sustainability. So giving you a bit of an insight into the audience. This is, again, top level. You could then, really break down the audience. Summary of the goals. Fine. It's just reframing that for us. Okay, and then it's starting with content and campaign recommendations. Launch a design for sustainability campaign highlighting the eco-friendly materials and processes used in your products. Include testimonials behind the scenes, look at product creation, the impact of the environment. Implement a retargeting campaign for content abandonment using email and social media ads to remind customers they left behind items to limit time offer. Okay, so again, it is quite generic, and I've worked on these to get more detail out of it. But what's nice is it's addressing both the audience and the kind of goals that we put in place, and the challenges that we're having. And this on its own isn't enough, but it's a good place to start, especially if you're kind of a new marketing manager or just looking to get ideas. Then it's got channel and platform focus. Instagram and Facebook, makes sense. Interactive things like polls and quizzes. Email marketing, Google ads, sure. Okay. And then it tells us how to allocate the budget. It gives us projected outcomes, and then a bit of a timeline as well. So this is okay. Honestly, this is a good start, but by no means a finish. So from here, you can then start coaxing more out of GPT. So you can say, break down the audiences in more detail. And again, you can tell it how to do this. You could say, create personas for me, create a table. I think I've got another video on audience research and how you do that. But here it's breaking it down in quite an intelligent way, in a way that any marketer would probably recommend, by audience segment, and then the demographics and interests. And now you could start to say stuff like, come up with specific content and channel ideas for each audience. I'm going to stop it there and just go. Okay, and here we go. So now you're getting content ideas specific for these audiences and the channels that we use. Again, not huge amounts of depth and detail, but certainly a good start to then pull into a broader marketing plan. And then you can just keep going with this. So I could go back up here and I could say, okay, tell me more about how this budget needs to be break down. Justify your answers. Why are you using these specific channels? What other channels would you use? What would you specifically do with email marketing? What platform should I use for email marketing? We could get really granular. What platform should I use for email marketing, and how should I segment my list? Okay, so it took a little while to actually get through to the email suggestions, because GPT is not perfect, but it's actually come up with some pretty good ideas here. So it's suggesting Klaviyo, which indeed is a pretty good marketing platform, email platform to use, and then some pretty intelligent ways of segmenting the audience: content abandonment, recent purchases, agent interests. Now, again, any experienced marketer, especially an email marketer, would know this stuff. But it's a quick way to build out a bit of a picture on how you could effectively do this. And then what's pretty cool is that you could just take all of this whole prompt and turn it into a GPT itself. So I've actually done that already. I created one where I literally just took that prompt, pasted it into, I went to create a new GPT, pasted the prompt in, uploaded the PDF, and now it does the same thing. So if we say, let's go. Okay, and let's see what happens if we pick a big brand like Adobe. Losing market share to Canva, less subscribers, not enough revenue. Okay, and let's see what we get. Now, I think it should be better because it's a GPT and I've built this all in already. We're not just using a prompt in a window. So let's see what we get here. Okay, cool. Overview of the brand. I mean, yeah, this should be pretty accurate. Okay, and then yeah, because it's in GPT form, again, you do get better responses. So it's breaking down primary audiences, secondary audiences. It's summarizing the goals in a nice paragraph form. And then it's coming up with these content ideas. So launch an Adobe Creative Challenge, product launch campaigns, yeah, educational content series. So again, makes sense, not reinventing the wheel. If I worked at Adobe, this is not how I would construct my marketing plan. But if you maybe want to start a conversation with someone about marketing suggestions for them, how they might leverage new channels, this could be a good start. And then, as I said, you can then dig into this more, ask it more questions. Okay, why would you suggest 40% on social media? How would you split that specifically? Why would we focus on these channels, for example? Tell me more about these content ideas, break down the audiences in more detail. So a pretty good way of getting a kind of starting point, if you will. And then, as I said, kind of upfront, you can tailor this specifically to your needs. This is just one way of creating, in this case, a digital marketing plan focusing on content and channel usage. But you could make it just focused on market research, just focused on getting press, just focused on a specific channel. So make it for TikTok only. And I think a lot of the kind of key, or the secret sauce, if you will, lies in breaking it down and telling it exactly what you want to get out of it when it comes to the report itself. So for this example, it's these points over here. The final report should include these things. Those are you telling GPT how to actually do this in the most effective way. So, and you can list anything out there as you want it. So if you want to see the back end of this GPT, this is kind of how it looks. You've got the configuration there. I've the PDF that I've uploaded, and then you don't really need the conversation starters, and then telling it to use all these capabilities here. Okay, so I'm going to leave it there. Hopefully that was useful. There's so much that can be done with this. This is, as I said, a starting point to play around with ChatGPT and what's possible and incorporating into your brand and marketing mix. Have a play around. Let me know what you managed to get out of it, and expect more videos to come on the topic. Drop a like and maybe a subscribe if you enjoyed this. Bye-bye.